let's wait for another 2 minutes more. Let the others join in, then we will start with the class. In the meantime, those who have joined, kindly write your name in the chat box. Okay, so in this object-oriented database system subject, I will be teaching you three modules, that is module 1, module 2 and module 4. And I hope the other modules, that is module 3, 5 and 6 will be taken up by Orijit sir. Okay, so the very first topic, is my voice audible to you all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the very first topic which is under module 1, the first topic is the extended entity relationship model. So, okay, first of all, you need to know what is this difference between the normal RDBMS and the object oriented RDBMS. Now, both of them have the same features like RDBMS only, but it is more of a theoretical concept. That is, in the normal RDBMS which we have learned in the form of tables, right? Tables, columns like this, the normal SQL queries, the normal things we have learned. Whereas in comparison to that, the object oriented RDBMS, it deals in the view of objects. So, whatever in tabular form which you have learned in RDBMS, same concept, but in the view of objects, hierarchies, instances, classes, subclasses, like this. So this is the main difference. Otherwise, if you do it as a practical, if you see from a practical approach, uh, this SQL 99, from there a few features have been added, like features of abstract data type and all. Then Oracle 9 also a few features have been added. Now practically those features have been added and referred that they can handle object type databases. So this is the overview of object oriented database system. Now the first topic is extended ER model. Oh sorry, this will be model, not module. Okay, extended ER model. Now this extended ER model is a high level data model, and this data model incorporates the extensions to the original ER model. So whatever original ER model we have learned, in addition to this, a few extensions have been made it. Now this enhanced entity relation model, they model the different, or they represent the different requirements and the complexities of a few complex data types. Earlier it was seen that ER models was able to handle simple data types or databases, but this extended ER model, they have a few extended features incorporated, which sorry, which helps them to serve better or represent better the requirements and complexities of complex data types. So addition to the in addition to the ER model, what are the concepts that this extended ER model includes? The first is the concept of subclass and superclass. Next is the concept of which you have already learned, specialization, generalization. Next is the concept category or union type. Next is the concept which we have already learned, that is aggregation. So together these four concepts falls under the extended ER model, whereas in between these, this concept and this concept was already there in the normal ER model concept, and in addition this concept, this concept are incorporated in the extended features, and together these four are the extended ER model features concepts. Is that clear? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Now we all know that superclass is an entity. Since it is a ER model, everything will be dealt in the form of entity. So superclass is an entity that can be further divided into various subclasses. So subclass is a lower version of superclass and superclass is a higher version of subclass. So for example, if I consider, suppose shape, there is a superclass named shape. Then under this shape I can have triangle, I can have square, I can have circle. So all these shapes I can have under this shape superclass. So shape superclass can have subgroups or subclasses like triangle, square and circle. So these are example of subclasses. So subclasses are the group of entities with some unique attributes. So triangle has a unique attribute of its own, that is it will have three vertices. Square will have four vertices. Then all the sides of a square will be equal. For circle the radius will be equal, the diameter is something value. So all of these individual subclasses, they have a unique characteristics or unique attributes of its own. But all these subclasses, they inherit certain properties and attributes from the superclass as well. That is, all of them have shape like this and so on. So this is one example of subclass and superclass concept, where I will have a superclass. It can be divided further into several subclasses. These subclasses will have its own unique properties to identify them as separate subclasses. But in addition to that, they will inherit certain properties and attributes of the superclass as well. Is this thing clear to you all?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now this topic we have already learned. Still, like, I am telling you one last time, that is generalization. We all know. First, we will talk about generalization. So we all know that generalization is a process of where we generalize an entity. We generalize an entity which contains certain generalized attributes or properties of generalized entities. That means if I talk about one example, so this generalization, it is a bottom up process. Why? Because this car, truck and bike, these three are three sub entities or subclasses. Now these three subclasses or sub entities can be generalized into one superclass named vehicle. So generalization is a bottom up process. From subclasses we move towards the superclass, whereas specialization is a process of identifying the subsets of an entity that share some different characteristics. Remember this thing, that whenever we talk about specialization, we mean that we break a superclass into subclass where separate unique characteristics are given. And wherever we talk about generalization, we means we combine all the subclasses to form a superclass where everything we will mean that uh, same features. That is, car, truck, bike have gear. Car, truck, bike have suppose the steering. They can be run by human beings. So all these things are generalized features. So specialization is just the reverse process of generalization, where it is a top down approach. The specialization is a top down approach where one entity is broken down into several low level entities. So these all are the low level entities or the subclasses where the superclass is broken down into several subclasses. So vehicle is a, like, car, truck, bike, all our vehicle is a generalized thing, and vehicle can be a car, a truck or bike is a specialized thing. And this generalization is a bottom up approach, and this specialization is a specialization is a top down approach. Is this thing clear? Is this thing clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now what is this category or union? Now, relationship of one superclass or subclass with more than one superclass, it is known as category or union. That is, relationship between one superclass or subclass with more than one superclass is known as category or union. Suppose I have one entity or a superclass named vehicle, and I have another entity named house. Now you tell me that the owner of one vehicle can be the owner of a house, or the owner of a house can be the owner of a vehicle. Is that true? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So how does this owner entity related to both of them? They are united, right? That means the owner, sorry, that means the owner entity is related to both the vehicle entity and the house entity, and this house is a superclass and vehicle is a superclass. House can be a subclass also. Suppose there can be another superclass named buildings in which houses are forming. So relationship between the various superclass and subclasses can be anything. So this is an example of union relationship where owner is the common, that is owner. There are two superclasses, vehicle and house, and owner is the subset of these two superclasses. Okay. Now, sorry. So consider this ternary relationship. That is, this relationship works on is a ternary relationship between the employee, branch, and manager. Okay. So now the best way to module this situation is to use aggregation, so that the relationship set that is works on is a higher level entity set. So this manager, it manages employee, and manager manages the job of several employees, and this works on, that is employee works under a manager and employee works in a branch. So this works on relationships is under employee, branch, and manager. So it is handling three type of entities, and this managers relationship set, manager manages the jobs and manager manages the employee, right? And also manager manages a particular branch also. We have the branch office. managers. So this is one example of the concept of aggregation, where we compile information on an object, therefore abstracting higher level objects. So we abstract these higher level objects. So manager relationship is dealt with every employee. So what we can do is, we can, instead of doing like this, we can do one thing. We can create separate entity which contains all these three entities, and we can associate that entity with the manager entity. How? Like this. Suppose this is job, this is branch, this is employee, this is works on. So these three are separate entities, and this is managers, this is manager. So it will mean what? This entire entity set is managed by manager. So normally the example or the drawing in just the previous minute, the drawing is that we see entity connected to another entities. So we do that. So that is one example of aggregation, where we compile the information on an object, thereby we abstract higher level objects. Okay. So we all are familiar with already with this concept of complex data types, that is date and time. We have all done those. But when we design these SQL queries and all, we deal with these complex data types, date, time and all. But their complexity is hidden from the users. Now, these are these complex data types that we need to talk about. So understanding these data types, it requires a few object oriented features. So what happened in SQL 99? SQL 99, it defined two new groups of complex data types. One is the abstract data type, ADT, and another is collections. So what happened in SQL 99? two new groups of complex data type was incorporated, ADT and collection. And Oracle 9i, it supports ADT in the form of object types. So ADT is in the form of objects, and these collections is in the form of tables, or rather nested tables. So it is changing from day by day. So I hope you people have done these practicals in Oracle 10G or Oracle 11G. So Oracle 11G is just a higher version of Oracle 9i. So there also these objects and these collections were represented in the form of nested tables. Then we used several reference types. Then we used several arrays, varying arrays, and so on. So this is the basic logic behind the object or the user defined data types incorporation in the normal RDBMS system. Okay. Now what does this ADT do? The basic definition of ADT you all have learned in your data structure class. So what does ADT do? ADT provides means so that explicitly we can define a structural type and with the more larger context of our database structure. So suppose we have several system data types. So we can associate a series of attribute names and paired with these system data types. So ADT can be virtually anything. It can be one can imagine. It can be a car, it can be a person, it can be an invoice, whatever it is. All these things we have thought of representing in the form of objects in this object oriented database. Now collections refers to what? Collections refers to a set type or a list type, that is a collection of cards, collection of shapes, like this. These are the things that the collection terms represent. And reference type we have already learned, like when we were doing this foreign key concept. Now reference type, it is a special thing which rather this instance of one type and another type can be referent. That is, from one instance of data we can refer to another instance of data. So this is the concept about the reference type concept. Now reference values are one thing, that reference values are read only values. Whenever we are using this concept of reference, those are read only values and they are unique in any database system catalog. And the several list types and set types, you all know that we incorporate or store a large amount of homogeneous data by storing the same type of things in any database. We can store a homogeneous type of data. So among this all these things, these sets and lists, they are built-in data types. And this abstract data type, reference data type, they are raw data types. So the basic difference is that all these things, they more or less work in the same manner, but the basic difference is that this list types things, they need to be ordered. So this collection type of objects, they needs to be ordered following certain guidelines.